Welcome back to Building Foundations, the podcast by DGI Waterproofing. Glad to have you back with us as we dive into another important part of home maintenance.
Yeah, this time we're focusing on a space that often gets overlooked.
Oh, for sure. We're going deep into the basement.
Sometimes a little mysterious down there, right? Maybe even a little bit spooky.
Right. The basement's like a time capsule, full of old memories, holiday decorations, that treadmill you swore you'd use.
But it can also be, well, let's face it, a breeding ground for mold.
Exactly. And our latest article, How Basement Waterproofing Can Prevent Mold, goes into all that. You even compare mold to a house guest who just won't leave.
Always looking for the right conditions to move right in.
So why are basements so prone to mold in the first place? What makes them such a perfect spot for it?
It all comes down to the conditions. Mold loves dampness. And unfortunately, a lot of basements have problems with leaks, condensation, even something called rising dampness.
Rising dampness. That might be a new one for some of our listeners. Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. Rising dampness happens when moisture from the ground actually moves up through the foundation, like the ground is sweating. And that sweat gets into your walls and floors, creating the perfect environment for mold.
So leaky pipes, condensation, and now this rising dampness. No wonder mold feels right at home in basements.
It's like we're rolling out the welcome mat. And once mold gets a foothold, it can spread so fast, gets into all those hard-to-reach spots. And it's not just about how it looks, although no one wants to see those black or green patches.
Definitely not a good look.
Yeah.
But, it's more than just the aesthetics. Mold can be a real health hazard. It's not just a musty smell, right?
Right. We're talking about potential respiratory problems, allergies, asthma, and it's especially dangerous for the vulnerable, like children and seniors. That's why it's so important to address this issue head on.
So what's the plan of attack here? What can homeowners do to fight back against this mold invader?
Well, the best weapon we have is basement waterproofing. Think of it like a shield to protect your basement from moisture. It's all about finding those weak points where moisture is getting in and fixing them.
You mean like cracks in the foundation, drainage problems, those hidden leaks that always seem to pop up at the worst time?
Exactly. That's where DGI comes in. Our contractors are like detectives, trained to find those problems and come up with the right solution. We're talking about a real barrier to keep moisture out.
So not just a quick fix. You're talking about a long-term solution. And speaking of long-term, how long can a waterproofing system actually last? What are the factors that affect that?
That's a good question. It really depends. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. The lifespan of the system depends on the type of system, the materials, how bad the moisture problem is, even the climate.
So you have to look at the needs of each basement individually and come up with a waterproofing plan that works for that specific situation.
Exactly. It's not a generic fix. It's personalized.
Like getting a custom-tailored suit, but for your basement.
Perfect analogy. And speaking of finding the right solution, what about homeowners who think they might already have a mold problem? What are some of the signs that mold has already moved in?
We get a lot of calls from homeowners who describe this musty smell in their basement, but they can't figure out where it's coming from. That's a big red flag, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That musty smell is a classic sign of mold. And it's not just the smell. Look for discoloration on the walls or ceiling, those black, green, maybe even white patches we talked about.
And those visual clues can be really telling. I remember one client who called us because their basement walls suddenly had this weird kind of abstract art thing going on. Turned out to be efflorescence.
Ah, efflorescence. We might need to explain that one for our listeners. Basically, it's this white powdery stuff that shows up on surfaces like concrete or brick. It's caused by salts being carried through the material by water, often a sign of a moisture problem.
So it's like the building is trying to tell you, hey, there's too much water here.
Right. Don't ignore that warning sign. Peeling paint or wallpaper can also be a red flag. It often means moisture is trapped behind those surfaces, creating a perfect place for mold to grow.
So again, it's not just about aesthetics. There are real underlying problems that need to be addressed. So if a homeowner sees any of these signs, the musty smell, discoloration, peeling paint, efflorescence, dampness, what should they do?
Well, if you see any of those things, call our mold removal professionals as soon as possible. Mold can be a tricky opponent. It spreads quickly and hides in places you might not even think to look.
So it's not enough to just grab some bleach and hope for the best.
Nope. Bleach might help with surface mold, but it won't fix the underlying moisture problem. And it definitely won't get to those hidden mold colonies that could be behind walls or under floors. That's where our expertise comes in. Our mold removal pros are trained to really assess the situation, find all the affected areas, and remove the mold safely. Using, industry-approved methods, they can also handle any repairs or remediation that needs to be done to stop the mold from coming back.
So it's not just about getting rid of the existing mold, it's also about taking care of those underlying moisture problems. A two-pronged attack, so to speak.
Exactly. Mold removal is like cleaning up after a wild party. Waterproofing is like making sure no more parties happen. Locking the doors and windows.
I love that analogy. It really gets the point across. And speaking of taking care of moisture problems, let's talk more about the different waterproofing solutions that DGI offers. I know there's no one-size-fits-all approach. So what are some of the options homeowners can choose from?
You got it. There's no magic solution when it comes to waterproofing basements. The best way to go really depends on what's going on with each specific basement. But to give you an idea, we've got a whole range of solutions. From exterior waterproofing, which means digging up around the foundation and putting down a waterproof membrane, to interior waterproofing, which tackles the moisture from inside the basement.
So exterior waterproofing is like building a wall around the outside of the castle, while the interior waterproofing is reinforcing the walls from the inside.
That's a great way to put it. And then there are things like drainage systems, French drains, sump pumps, things like that. They redirect water away from the foundation so it doesn't pool up around your basement.
Sounds like you've got all the bases covered.
Yeah.
But with so many options, how does a homeowner figure out which way to go?
That's where our expertise comes in. Our contractors are trained to look at each basement individually. They look at things like how old the house is, the type of foundation, the soil, how bad the moisture problem is, and then they come up with a custom waterproofing plan that addresses those specific issues. It's all about long-term protection.
So you don't just pick the most expensive solution or the most complicated one. You find what works best for that particular basement, that personalized approach we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And that goes for how we communicate with homeowners, too. We believe in being transparent and educating our clients, so we explain all the options, answer any questions, and help homeowners find a solution that fits their budget and gives them peace of mind.
That makes sense. It's not just about fixing a leaky basement. It's about building relationships and helping homeowners make informed decisions about their homes.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We want homeowners to feel confident and knowledgeable throughout the whole process. And speaking of feeling confident, let's talk about a concern we hear a lot from homeowners. They're worried about the cost of waterproofing and hesitate to call for help.
Yeah, I understand that. Basement waterproofing can seem like a big expense, especially if you don't know much about it. But let's be real. Ignoring the problem will probably cost you more in the long run, won't it?
Absolutely. Think of it this way. Waterproofing isn't just an expense, it's an investment. By dealing with moisture problems early on, you're protecting your home's value and preventing bigger, more expensive repairs later.
It's like preventative health care, but for your basement. A little investment now can save you a lot of trouble and money later on.
Exactly, and we get that budget is a big deal for homeowners, so we offer a variety of solutions to fit different needs and budgets. We work closely with homeowners to find a solution that takes care of their concerns and works with their financial situation.
So no need to let cost worries stop you from taking action. We'll work with you to find a solution that works for everyone. And, let's talk about the benefits of a dry basement. It's not just about preventing mold. What are some of the other advantages homeowners can enjoy?
For one thing, a dry basement means a healthier home overall. When you reduce moisture, you're also reducing things like allergens, dust mites, other indoor pollutants. Those things can really affect your family's health.
So it's about making a cleaner, healthier living environment for everyone, especially important for people with allergies or respiratory issues.
Absolutely. And beyond health, a dry basement just makes your living space more comfortable. A damp basement can make the whole house feel cold, musty, uninviting.
I know exactly what you mean. You get that damp, chilly feeling coming up from the basement. It's like a constant reminder that something's wrong.
You said it. But with good waterproofing, you can control the humidity, improve the air quality, and just create a more welcoming atmosphere in your home.
It's like taking your basement from a cold, damp dungeon to a warm, inviting space. And speaking of transforming your basement, once those moisture problems are gone, the possibilities really open up. A dry basement is way more than just a storage space, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like adding another floor to your house. You can finally use that space for anything you want. Family room, home theater, gym. playroom, home office.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
It's like those before and after makeovers you see on home improvement shows.
Yeah.
But instead of a kitchen or bathroom, it's your basement getting the royal treatment.
Love that. And it's not just about looks. A finished basement can really increase your home's value. It's a smart investment, both for your enjoyment now and your financial security later.
So it's a win-win. You get a more comfortable, functional, and valuable home. That's a good move for any homeowner.
You got it. And that's what we're all about at DGI, helping homeowners get the most out of their basements, creating spaces they can really love.
And it all starts with a dry and healthy foundation, both literally and figuratively. We've talked about a lot today: the dangers of mold, the importance of waterproofing, the different solutions, and the benefits of a dry basement. But before we wrap up, let's talk about when to call in the pros. When is the right time?
Good question. And it's one we want homeowners to think about sooner rather than later. The longer you wait to deal with moisture problems, the more damage you'll have, and the more expensive it'll be to fix.
So it's all about being proactive and taking care of things before they turn into big problems.
Exactly. If you notice any signs of moisture, that musty smell, dampness, discoloration, cracks in the foundation, call us for a free consultation. Our experts can figure out what's going on, answer any questions you have, and recommend the best way to go.
And remember that free consultation is a no-obligation opportunity to get expert advice and learn about your options. You have nothing to lose and a dry, healthy basement to gain.
Exactly. We're here to help every step of the way, from figuring out what's wrong to fixing it and giving you peace of mind. We want you to feel confident and informed through the entire process.
Speaking of feeling confident, let's go over some of the key takeaways from our discussion on basement waterproofing. First and foremost, mold is a serious problem. Don't ignore it. It can affect your health, your home's value, your whole well-being.
Couldn't agree more. Early detection and prevention are key when it comes to mold. Don't wait until it's out of control.
And when it comes to prevention, basement waterproofing is your best bet. It's about creating that shield to keep the moisture out and prevent mold from getting a foothold.
That's right. Think of waterproofing as an investment. It's an investment in your home's health, your family's well-being. It's about that peace of mind, knowing you're protecting your property and creating a safe, comfortable living environment.
And remember, there's no single solution that works for every situation. We have a lot of different waterproofing options to suit different needs and budgets, from exterior membranes to interior drainage systems.
You got it. And our team of experts can help you decide which approach is best for your situation, taking into account your home's specific features and your concerns.
We believe in being open and honest and educating homeowners, so we'll walk you through the process, answer your questions, and make sure you feel good about your decision.
Absolutely. We want you to feel empowered and informed, not pressured. It's your home, your investment, and your peace of mind.
So if you're seeing any signs of moisture in your basement, don't wait. Reach out to DGI Waterproofing for a free consultation. We're here to help you create a dry, healthy basement you can really enjoy without any worries.
Remember, a dry basement is a happy basement.
And a happy basement means a happy homeowner.
Exactly. And with that, we want to thank you for joining us on Building Foundations. We hope you found our deep dive into basement waterproofing helpful and informative.
We hope you'll join us for our next episode.
Until then, stay dry.
And stay informed.